we're gonna wait a couple minutes before we even get going.
Oh.
So, what chords under here? Okay,
It's D sharp.
It's fine. My knee was just touching it. So.
D sharp.
I see what you did. All right, we're live right now.
Can you see it?
Well, I'm gonna start the stream on mine.
Oh, that's me from 2 minutes ago.
Well, there's a delay. That's
Future me, let me give an advice to past me.
Let's see if past you somehow can take that advice. Try to remember like what you did, and then give the advice to do that thing, and then it'll blow your mind.
Wow.
Right?
Nice sweatshirt. My future self told my past self told my future self to tell you. Nice hoodie. Compliment other people more. That was the advice.
That was the advice?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Ooh, Paul already gave us a thumbs up. It's really nice of him.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
I'm going to wait a couple minutes. There's a lot of fun stuff going on out here today.
Oh, Jacqueline is supporting.
Yeah. Okay. 25 people on so far. On the LinkedIn. I guess
That is impressive.
I guess I'm not really paying attention to the YouTube one, just the LinkedIn one right now.
Thanks for
All
bringing
right.
your computer.
What?
Thanks for bringing your computer.
No, you're welcome. I did it for you. Hey, Dave, when do you want us to get going? Give you a minute. Okay. Make sure we're doing well. Ooh, get more people joining. That is encouraging and fun.
Big announcement today.
Yeah, it is a big announcement. Also, you're here, and I think they're here for you.
Oh.
Yeah, it's your friends and your family.
Yeah.
Toby always has friends and family joining, and they always say hi, Toby.
Aw.
It's
That's very sweet.
it's fantastic.
I know. I can't.
Who wouldn't say hi, Toby?
Can't.
I know,
It's too much.
right?
Oh. Paul is watching.
He's watching via his phone. Apparently, it's better there than it is here.
True.
He hasn't heard us say that yet.
Have you gone? Whenever you go to a game, do you watch the actual game, or do you just watch it on those gigantic TVs in the arena?
I mean, if I'm gonna go, I watch the game, but I understand where you're coming from.
That's what Paul is doing.
Yeah. Okay. We're also talking pretty low right now. So, do you want us to talk the normal volume that we would talk? Okay. Yeah, we're not really talking very loud, so
Big
that's a little more
announcement coming.
normal. Yes, there is a big announcement coming, and we are very excited, and we will get started here pretty soon. We're just making sure that the streams are set up correctly. So this is actually the first time, which I'm going to announce this one more time, but this is the first time that we're streaming on both YouTube and LinkedIn at the same time. So we're making sure that both platforms are running well. And David is checking that right now before we completely get started.
Engineer David.
Engineer David.
Thank you, David.
Thank
Producer
you.
David.
Thank you for all you do. We appreciate you.
You are the glue that keeps us together.
An inspiration.
All right. How you feeling? You feeling comfortable? Yeah, we're ready. How we feeling?
All right.
We good?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back, or welcome to Labs Live. If you have never watched this is our live show that we do in downtown Detroit, in Detroit Labs, at Detroit Labs, if you will. So if you're just tuning in, it's every other Thursday at 3 p.m. If you are tuning in once again, thank you. Welcome back. Today, we're going to be joined by Developer Coach Jen Socia.
Hello.
As we've kind of already teased out a little, not even kind of, we've pretty much big time teased out all week that we have a big announcement today.
Pretty huge.
But yeah, pretty huge, yeah. But before we get into that, it's important that on YouTube you have to follow us, right?
Yeah.
Subscribe.
Subscribe
We've been
and
going back and forth on the two different words all
notification
day.
bell.
Subscribe, notification bell. On LinkedIn, it's different. You have to follow us. It's important that you follow us because we can't schedule a LinkedIn Live episode. So you have to actually be following us, and then it shows up in your left-hand corner of your feed. So also tell friends because that's fun. When we're done talking, we're actually going to have a live Q&A session. We have been asking on Instagram to submit some questions. We have, I think, 10 questions from Instagram. And I'm assuming we're also going to get some other questions, comments, either through LinkedIn or through YouTube. So please feel free to ask those. We'll get to those a little bit later. Now, housekeeping out of the way. Jen, you're here to talk about the Detroit Labs Apprenticeship Program. So what is it?
So the Detroit Labs Apprenticeship Program is an immersive and intensive 3-month program where we bring in developers who have little or no experience, and we teach you the fundamentals of programming. We teach you that as well as project management in terms of like getting your ideas down and taking it to be an app. We talk about testing, pairing, QA, all that good stuff. This program is something that started in 2014. Detroit Labs had been around for a few years, and they noticed a gap in the amount of mobile talent that they had, and you all wondered, hey, I wonder if we could take people who are really smart and cool and teach them how to write code. So you tried it out, and it worked, and here we are.
And you were one of the first graduate, the first class, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, I was part of the first class that we ever did. I
Wow.
successfully graduated, went on to be an iOS developer on several client teams, and then later on I joined our training and development team to teach the apprenticeship, and now here I am teaching.
That's awesome.
So as a person that has gone through this program, you really know what it's like to be in the mind of the student, and you kind of talked about that. Somebody's going to come in and they're going to learn how to develop, but I think the interesting thing is the toolkits that they get of learning the soft skills and understanding how to work as part of a team.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's the interesting thing. We originally did this to support our own group that was here. And then we learned that other companies could benefit from this. So what are companies looking for when they partner with us? What are they looking to get out of the program?
The biggest gap that we hear from people is that we are looking for team members who basically work well as team members, meaning that they can come onto a team, work well with others, learn, are resilient. The actual all of the actual like what software development methodologies they're learning are kind of secondary. What they want are people who will come in, be engaged, who are curious, and like I said, resilient. Those are the main things. And what companies find when they come to us is that we are not just saying, hey, here is one developer who's really good at X, Y, or Z. This is a group of people who work together, who have gone through this program and learned so much together. You can put them on your teams. They will make your teams stronger and better. They know how to learn. They know how to work together. They know how to work hard. The other thing that is interesting about what companies get when they come to us is that we go to you. We learn, what are you looking for? What are the gaps that you see on your teams? What do you want people to learn? And then we will tailor our training to what you need people to know. We also have a high degree of involvement with the people who are coming in. So when we partner with a company, we have their developers come in, their managers come in, work with the apprentices, and learn a lot about them. They get to know one another. So it's a really great experience all around.
Yeah, I think that has been one of the more fun things, seeing the client come in, meeting with the apprentices, working with them, making sure that what they're learning is related to their business, because once the apprentices do go on site with that client, having that knowledge before they get there seems to be, I don't want to say comforting, because the whole program probably is not overly comfortable.
No.
But they do seem to have that little leg up by the time they get over there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You mentioned that this is like a 3-month process. So what's like the first month like, or the second month and the third one?
Right, yeah. So I can talk about it month by month. The first month tends to be pretty classroom based. So we will do lectures in the morning for the most part. We'll do a little, like, we won't just throw you right into the stuff. So we get together, talk about how we're feeling. We get into the lecture for the first month. First half of the day, we do lecture. And then in the afternoon, you're working on either individual or paired exercises, getting through the material that we learned just to make sure that it's sinking in. So that's generally what the first month looks like. The second month is more paired projects. We move into like a mix of lecture and project-based learning. And the last month tends to be more of like a capstone type thing, a large project to bring together all of the things that you've learned throughout the lectures and working on your other projects throughout the whole time. We also have guest speakers coming in. I think one of the really unique things about our program is that Detroit Labs, as you obviously know, we are a software development company. So that sort of our bread and butter, our expertise. It's not just me and a couple developer coaches in the room. We bring in our team members who have practical experience working professionally, writing code, who come in, help people out. We have people from all areas of the business that come in and help the apprentices learn different aspects of how a software development team would work. And that all gets incorporated into the projects that you're doing along the way.
That's awesome.
I love it because it seems to always produce very well-rounded apprentices. Both we've done them internally for our services organization and the on-site organization, and we always get really great feedback from clients and other team members that are peers working with them, which is awesome. All right. We talked about our you are excited. We talked about our main apprenticeship program in general. So I think now it is time for the big announcement, which I will gladly turn over to Jen to make.
All right. Well, we are very excited to announce that as of today, we are opening applications for our next apprentice program. We are partnering up with Ford again to offer an apprenticeship in Java.
I mean, it's at Ford. Yeah.
It's at Ford. Super duper Ford, Java and Spring Boot. This is a great opportunity to come in, learn how to write code, and then at the completion of this, assuming everything goes well, you're going to be part of our team and our on-site division working with the teams at Ford, which is an amazing opportunity because they are working on a bunch of super cool stuff that I am not allowed to talk about, but you could learn about.
That's awesome.
Sometimes they barely even let us know what it is because it's so secretive,
Yeah.
which is the best kind of technology, secretive tech.
I agree.
What is this timeline, the application opening today? What is the timeline?
So
like?
the application is open right now.
Ooh.
It is open right now, and it will remain open until February 23rd at 11:59 p.m. Once the clock ticks to midnight, it is closed. Dunzo. So 11:59 p.m. on the 23rd will be when the applications close. From there, we go through all of the applications, and we will get back to everybody no later than March 13th. But the way that this will work is we will go through all of those applications. The interviews will be held on the first and second week of March. After that, we will come to our decision, and the program itself will start early April and run through the end of June.
That's
Awesome. And we have, correct me if I'm wrong here, we also have an open house scheduled, correct?
You are absolutely correct.
Okay. I was
You
making
are
sure that
absolutely
I
correct.
wasn't announcing
No,
something
no,
that
no,
is
no,
not
no.
at all true.
It's next week. In fact, it's February 13th. So
Is that a Friday?
it's the RSVPs are up. It's on
Yeah.
a Thursday. It is Thursday, February 13th, day before Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
So come get your Valentine a little early.
There
Learn
we go.
about the apprenticeship.
Tobi will be there with a little Transformers Valentine, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at the open house, you're going to hear a lot more about the specifics of this program. You'll hear from some of the folks over at Ford. We'll tell you more about the program. We have a panel of apprentices who have gone through the program before to answer some questions. We'll have a Q&A there as well. So if you don't get your questions in here, you realize you have them, come to the open house. We'll answer them there. There's also going to be some food and some beverages. So if that's your motivation, that'll be here too.
Either one
We've
works.
got it all.
All right, so I'm going to get ahead probably of some of the questions that are eventually going to be asked here. One of the main ones is, who should apply here? What type of person should apply to the apprenticeship program?
So we have had the great fortune of running this program several times. So we've really been able to kind of narrow down the types of attributes that make somebody very successful. One of the things that we're looking for is you really want to be a developer. This is very difficult work, and it's very difficult to learn in a short period of time. So the drive to want to learn how to do this is very important. We are looking for people who are very empathetic and team focused. You're going to be in a classroom with a bunch of people who are trying to learn a bunch of things very quickly. So it is important that you are able to work well on a team. A strong sense of personal responsibility is important. We will make sure that you have all the tools that you need and all the information that you need to learn the material that's presented. But we found that really successful candidates have a lot of motivation and strong will to get through things, because ultimately what you learn and how you learn is up to you. We're looking for people who have very strong problem solving skills, and in general people who are enthusiastic about learning, okay with being wrong, because this job and this program
You'll be wrong a lot.
Yeah.
you're wrong so much. So
We're all wrong a lot.
The resilience piece is very important as well.
What about experience? Oh, were you about to ask that?
Yeah, same
What about
question.
experience?
That is the really unique and beautiful thing about this program. You do not have to have experience to apply. If you have some experience, that is okay. Something like a boot camp, maybe you've been interested in being a developer for a while, so you've done some self-study, that's totally fine. But it's really, we feel like there is a lot of talent in the city of Detroit, a lot of talent in this area, and there's a big opportunity gap. One of the things about this program is we hope to help bridge that gap. You can have little to no experience and come to this program, and we will teach you. It will be much harder than if you have looked at code before, but that's okay. I had no experience coming in. I had less than everybody else in my cohort, and it was more difficult for me to get through, but I did with a lot of support and time. So that said, if you have had like a couple years at a client, this program is probably not for you. That if you are interested in working with Detroit Labs, which I think you should be, that might be something that you might want to look at, more of like a junior type posting, or a post, a different kind of coming in as a full-time team member straight away. This is focused more for people who have little to no experience.
Awesome. And what is, you talked about timeline a little bit, but what does the process look like, I guess? I know there's GTKY. I don't know if everyone knows what that is.
Sure. So, and how would they if they didn't work here?
This is true.
So
yeah.
a GTKY is what we call our application form. It stands for getting to know you. And if you've gone and looked at the application and you're like, how many questions is this? Why do you want to know all this? We really want to get to know you. It is a long form. You should anticipate that it will take you a while to figure out, which is why we give a while to fill out and figure out what you want to say, which is why we give you quite a bit of time to fill it out. So, so our team will go through and read every single GTKY. We know it's involved, we know it's a lot of questions, but we take it very seriously, and it really does help us narrow our candidate pool down. So once our team has had time to go through those GTKYs, we will invite roughly 40 people in for a round of first interviews. Our first round of interviews, held over 2 days, are interpersonal interviews. Those are set up speed dating style. So they're really intended to kind of get more in depth on that getting to know you portion. Again, how somebody works on a team, who you are as a person, that's going to tell us so much more about how successful you will be both in this program and working on a team than whether or not you can write code right now. So what that looks like is you come in and you sit with a pair of Detroit Labs and Ford team members, and you go to about 5 or 6 different people, talk to them for about 10 minutes each, and that's the first round of interviews. So you'll do that. From there, we narrow it down to our technical interviews. That's the second week. And there will be 2 of those. And that basically is a series of code katas. Basically, we have you pair up with other people, work in small groups, and then also eventually at the last interview, do one on your own. What we're looking for there is to see how you work with other people. How do you problem solve? How are you to sit next to and work with in a high pressure situation? Because that's going to be the next 3 months of your life should you get into the apprenticeship. And then so many times in your career as a software developer, you will be sitting next to somebody in a frustrating and high pressure situation, and how you approach that will really make or break you.
So as a candidate here, I've applied, I've made it through the process, the long, tough process, and now I've been selected. What should I expect? Is this like a 9 to 5 thing? I clock in the morning, go home, and or is this like a college thing, 2 hours a day, and then never think about it ever again?
No. Okay. Well, okay.
Depends on the school.
You do get to go home. That is one part of the program. That's good. So the classroom hours are Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. You should expect to be spending time outside of class, working on projects, studying, refreshing your knowledge on things that maybe didn't quite stick in class. So it, to be frank, is exhausting. You are learning not only something that is technically very challenging, you're also learning to be in a new environment. You are learning how to work with a group of people. You're learning a lot of different software development methodologies and concepts that will have been very foreign to you up until you get into the classroom.
Yeah.
So one of the things you also will learn is how to manage your energy. One of the things that's important to us is helping people recognize, okay, like maybe you're going a little too hard right now. You need to rest. Or, hey, maybe you're going a little not hard enough here right now and you need to study a little bit more. So we really try to help you figure out where your levels are so that by the time you do go work at a client, you've also developed a skill set to know like how much effort you need to put into something and how to manage that effort, which I think is really important. So it's definitely not 2 hours, go like crack a cold one with the boys or whatever.
That was my college
like,
experience. Worked out really well for me.
I thought it was 1 hour.
What's that?
I thought your college experience was an hour.
I don't know that I showed up. After I'm out of this program, after I graduate out of this, am I expert developer now?
No
Okay.
way. I mean, not to be harsh, but no. And guess what? In like 4 years, you're still not going to be an expert developer.
Ooh,
it's a
Tobi.
long road of learning. It's a long and beautiful road of learning.
It's a windy road.
It's windy. There are hills. There are trees, an occasional snake. It's fine. You'll be fine.
Let's go.
But no. What you should expect at the end of this program is that you will have a strong understanding of the fundamentals of programming and that you will understand and be empowered to learn more. One of the things that maybe the most important thing that we teach you is how to learn. You might not know how to learn how to be a software developer when you enter the classroom, but we're there to teach you how to do that because technology changes rapidly. I think
All
that's
the
like
time.
very well known. There's going to be a new shiny language, a new shiny library, things that we haven't even imagined today. And so in this field of work, you have to be able to be nimble and adaptable and learn. And that's really what we try to instill in everybody who goes to this program.
You probably have mentioned this already, but someone who has gone through the program, what was like looking back today? What was your favorite part of the program?
My favorite part, I think, was just learning that I could do it. There were so many times, especially early on in the program, because I had so little experience and this wasn't a career path that I considered to be something that was available to me, sitting around people who seemed to just be getting it and like they're laughing and like showing their working code and all these like amazing apps they've built, and I am like, how do you pass a parameter? And before that, what is a parameter? If you're wondering that, that's okay. So I think after so much struggle, actually being on a project team and contributing code that went like that a client had paid for and was in people's hands, I was like, oh, I could figure this out. Even all those times that I doubted myself, I could. And to be able then to see people going through this process, whether it be junior developers, apprentices, whatever, and see them with that like 1,000-yard look on, like stare on their face. I'm like, hey, it's all right. You'll figure it out. So I think that's my favorite thing.
That's awesome.
Awesome. So for those that either just tuned in or tuned in halfway through, the big announcement is that we've partnered with Ford to open up a new apprenticeship.
That's right.
Java Spring Boot.
Yep.
Specifically. And the applications are open right now.
They
Is that what you
are,
said?
yes.
Okay, fantastic. So go apply. The GTKY is part of that application process, right?
Yep.
Okay. Open house will be February 13th. And then I want to make sure I cover the submission dates before we get into a little live Q&A here. The submission dates are February 6th to February 23rd at 11:59 p.m., correct?
That is correct. Yes.
Okay. So that is exciting. It's awesome to have another great partner in Ford. It's really great when these large companies are saying, you know what, we need to find another way to attract more talent, another way to essentially embrace and create a new workforce. Yeah. So that's encouraging. Now we're going to jump into some questions. We actually had an Instagram story out asking if there's any questions before we even went on the air. So we do have, I think, 10 of those. And then we'll jump in. If you have a question on YouTube, ask it there. If you have a question on LinkedIn, please ask it there. The team will continue to funnel them into me, and I will do my best to pay attention. And Jen will do her best to answer literally every single question on her own.
I feel really confident.
All right, fantastic. All right, on Instagram, will you consider apprentices with experience?
Yes, we will. As we discussed before, this is a program that is designed for people with little to no experience. So if your experience is a boot camp, maybe a very short period of time that you have been out in the world, then yes. If you have significant professional experience, then this program probably is not for you.
That'll be an internship.
There'd be an internship, that would be a junior developer role, something like that.
Great. What is the advantage of an apprenticeship compared to boot camp?
Well, specifically our apprenticeship program, there are multiple advantages in my opinion. One is that we pay you to learn. So we think that in order to best set people up for success in learning this stuff, that you need to focus on this full time. So this will be your full-time job when you come here. Also, we are a software development company. So what you are walking into is a classroom of people who have real-world experience, recent real-world experience, working on developing software professionally. And there is a whole company full of software developers and people who deliver software who aren't specifically developers, who can share their experiences, be a resource for you. You have access to all of that, and I think that that's really special.
Yeah, I think that's, we mentioned the favorite part before. I think answering this question about being paid is one of my favorite parts, because it helps de-risk you making that commitment to pursue a new career. Because if you're not getting paid, it's pretty difficult.
That is, and Detroit Labs makes a huge investment in this program. We make a huge investment in the people that we bring into this program. Over the years, it's been a risky investment. It becomes somewhat less risky over time, which is really, really wonderful, but it is an investment. So we invest in you. We hope that you invest in us. And so it's so much less. I think boot camps can be great and work. This, to me, what I love about it, it's not transactional. It's a true investment.
Awesome. I don't know. Maybe I'll lump these two together. Am I allowed to do that, Diana? Okay. Yeah. What kind of people do you choose, and what are you looking for in an apprentice? I know we largely covered this. Do you want to give like a 2-sentence answer? Is that possible?
Yes.
Okay.
For me, sure.
Okay.
We are looking for people who are dedicated, hardworking, have a lot of emotional intelligence and good team skills. We're looking for people who are curious and resilient and awesome.
Yeah,
All
What's
right.
that works.
That works. Has what?
I was just reading your notes. Go on.
Do you want to do this?
No, go on.
Has Detroit Labs considered starting and offering a UX apprenticeship in the near future? I can actually help with that one.
Go for it.
Kinda. That's probably my best answer. Right now, we're largely focused on development. I mean, I think that's probably because that was the first thing that we started, because we are largely a development shop. I think in the future, a UX apprenticeship might be something that that we take a look at. It also depends on if clients are interested in that. As we look to expand the apprenticeship program, we listen to the market, we listen to clients and what they're telling us, and if we hear that a UX apprenticeship is what's needed, then that's certainly something we will entertain. I mean, I think in general, one of our values is opportunity, and so if there is an opportunity that presents itself for UX apprenticeship, there's a good chance we would jump on it, but not in the near future at least. What age group are we looking for?
Oh, well, as
That's
long as
interesting.
you're over 18, good to go. So I think that there is an idea and an image that people have of like people in tech, and it's all like young, cool people. And we're all very young and cool here. But one of the things that we found, especially with apprenticeship, is that if you have experience in the workforce, if you have experience in life, you tend to be a lot more successful. So we don't have any sort of age group in mind. You have to be 18 or older, but that's really it. And yeah.
This one I'm excited for because I think it's one of the things that we spend a lot of time, effort on, is what kind of support can I expect to receive after the apprenticeship is over?
Well, after the apprenticeship is over, you're going to be working on a software development team. So you will have people by your side to help you continue to learn. We also provide continued support. So when the apprenticeship is over, I don't disappear to you. If you need help with learning something, I will help you, or I will find somebody who can help you. That's another thing that's really awesome about Detroit Labs is, like I said, we are a software development company. We have lots of smart people who are motivated to help other people grow and learn. For specifically an opportunity of being a member of our on-site team, we have team member advocates who meet with you, work with you to figure out your goals, talk about how things are going, and help you with anything that you experience working as a Detroit Labs employee with a client. We also offer mentorship. Mentorship is a really big thing here. So you ask for what you need, and we do our absolute best to meet you where you are and help you get to where you need to be.
Yeah, on our team advocates, I was on site for like maybe 3.5 years, and they do a great job like connecting you with whoever you need to be connected to help you out. So if you have like technical things you need to grow in, they find a way to match you with a mentor who would help you figure stuff out. So that's a good one.
How many apprenticeship positions will there be?
We are looking for between 12 and 14 people. So we are really careful to make sure that everybody that we bring into the apprenticeship, we believe wholeheartedly will be very successful, which is why we don't have a specific number that we will absolutely fill. We're going for 12 to 14. Hopefully we meet 14 people that we think are absolutely right for this apprenticeship at this time.
All right. Now we have, do you have, helps when I can read. Do you have to have any prior experience or a degree to be an applicant? The degree thing is always my favorite question.
Yeah.
No, not at all. We do not even ask about a degree. If you want to share, you can, but that's definitely not a prerequisite. Prior experience, also not a prerequisite.
No resumes.
No resumes.
Right.
Throw that in the trash.
In the trash. Okay, that's excessive. All right. I like this one. What kind of backgrounds have past apprentices come from?
That's a great question.
Oh, that is a great question.
Yeah.
It is so It is so varied. We have had people who have gone through boot camps. We've had people who have had like a passing interest in writing code in the past, but just now got into it. I worked in a specific kind of property management before I got into this. We found out that we had another apprentice who did the same thing last time. We have had people who basically had all different types of career. We've had people who were mechanical engineers, people who worked in like public mental health. It's just a really, really wide variety. And I think that's part of what makes the program so awesome is because you never know what sort of skill set somebody is going to bring in with them from their past employment. So it's a really awesome mix.
Do most of them end up having dev experience?
No, I would say most of them do not have developer experience. Maybe about half of people will have attended a boot camp or done most people have done some sort of online course or something like that. But no, the developer experience, I would say about half and half.
Yeah. Some just out of curiosity might have played around with making an app or something.
Yeah, I mean, if this seems like something that is interesting to you and you don't have any experience writing code at all, it's probably worth going online and messing around with one of the free coding websites just to see if like the process of doing that is, if you absolutely hate it, this probably isn't going to be your specific opportunity with Detroit Labs. But as far as having like actual experience being something that's prerequisite or that we look for, no, it is not.
That's awesome.
All right. Now we have one from YouTube, which I suppose this one's kind of for Dave.
Oh.
He's typing. Will the open house be live streamed and or recorded?
That is a great question.
That is a great question. Do you want to weigh in or no?
I don't have an answer.
All right.
We
So-
talked about it a little bit yesterday.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did talk about it a little bit. It's possible. I mean, I think part of this is because I think the open house has a panel, right?
Yes.
So there's multiple people talking. If we can set it up in the same way, then maybe there's an opportunity to live stream it. I think largely the issue is going to be audio because we are still kind of learning how to do this whole thing.
How to hear the questions and
We have fancy mics, but we're still learning how to do it. So that's a big maybe. All right.
Any more questions from LinkedIn?
Yeah, we got some LinkedIn questions we're about to get to. Do you have to live in Detroit to apply?
Not to apply. You can live wherever you want to apply, but in order to participate in the program, you would have to be in Detroit.
Okay. Do you have to be in person for interviews?
Yes, you
Okay.
do.
And we've had people apply because we had some folks come from Chicago.
Yep,
Correct?
we've had
Yes.
folks come from Chicago. In our last program, we had somebody come from New York and moved here from New York. So, yeah, we've had people come in from all over the place. But for something like this, we do need to meet you in person.
And I think you pretty much answered this next one is this remote friendly? And
No, it's unfortunately, no, it is not. Or maybe not unfortunately, but it is not. This is not a remote-friendly opportunity at this time.
yeah, it's one of those things where as much as we would love for that to be the case, to make it accessible to more and more people, it's just it doesn't work for now, at least. I think you missed that human connection that's really needed through this extremely difficult, long, challenging program. All right. We have a question of where do you go to apply, and I think that was answered, in the comments as well. But if you head to DetroitLabs.com/careers and you take a look for Java Developer Apprentice, click on that link, and that's where you can apply. So, nailed that one, Tobi.
Really, really good.
The GTKY, you just go straight to the GTKY, I assume?
It'll take you to the job description, which will reiterate some of the dates that we talked about and outline the description. And then from there you can go to the GTKY.
Awesome.
All right, we got another one. Would this program consider someone who is an experienced professional outside of development, but looking to change their career path?
Absolutely, 100%,
Yeah.
emphatically, yes.
That's what it was made for.
Yeah. That's, I think that's excellent. Yes. We have Most of the people who come through this program are making a career change. I made a career change. I was close to 30 when I came to the program. So, yeah, we find that I know Nathan's having a reaction to my age. It's so old. But
Oh, he's one to talk.
I know. So, but yeah, absolutely. We think that having like prior professional experience is really an asset in this program.
And one of the, Toby mentioned that was one of the reasons that we did the program, but it was also one of the reasons that we decided to offer a stipend versus a boot camp where you have to pay to go to the boot camp. And so allowing you to make a better decision, or an easier decision probably is the better word there.
A less risky decision.
Right. Well, it's never risky when you're betting on yourself, right?
Depends.
Seems like something you would say.
Whoa.
But yeah, I know.
Have to take a personal inventory there.
I'm like, that sounded good, but I got to think about it.
I double down every day, Toby. Anyways, yeah, that was one of the main reasons we ended up doing a stipend, to give you the flexibility to make that career jump, at least to give you a little bit of time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think we have one more, and it sounds like that's it. Okay. How much experience is too much experience?
That's a great question.
That's a great question.
I would say if you have more than a year of professional development experience, that's probably edging on too much. We don't deal in absolutes when we're looking at the GTKYs. So if you have a very specific question about your level of experience and you want to know whether we would consider it before you fill out the long form, I understand. You can reach out to us. There is an apprentice at email alias, apprentice at Detroit Labs, and we can answer that question for you. But again, there's not an absolute answer to that. If you've had 5 years of professional experience, it's way too much. You should apply for a regular job. But if you're on the line, reach out to us. We're happy to help you understand better.
All right, we do have one more question.
Wow.
Ooh la la.
Yeah. When in March would the interviews take place? We talked about that, but we might as well
Yeah.
reiterate that.
So it will be the first and second weeks of March. The interpersonal round will be held over 2 days. The first week of March, you would only be required to attend one of those. And then the second week of March, we have 2 technical interviews. If you are to make it that far, you would need to attend each of those.
When does the program start?
The program starts on April 6th. And also worthy of note, the interviews take place in the evening. We understand that most people have a job and a different career going on right now, although some people do work in the evening. We try to have our interviews in the evening to better accommodate everybody, so you're not having to take time away from what you're doing during the day to interview for this opportunity.
That is awesome.
All right, I'm actually looking on LinkedIn here. What did you say, Dave, to me? Yeah, I'm going to go through a couple of the LinkedIn ones here, answer the ones that we can answer. And there may be people responding. I see Stu's responding to some. I see Christy's responding from Detroit
awesome.
Labs, which is fantastic and appreciated.
Thanks.
Yeah, for this one, a couple of the folks are asking, is it Java only? Is that the only thing that's going to be learned through the program? So is Java the only program taught, or are there other programs taught as well in the duration of the apprenticeship?
So this specific 3-month apprenticeship program, we're going to be focusing on Java and Spring Boot. We have done apprenticeships in like iOS, JavaScript, Android. But in this one, you're primarily going to be focused on learning Java and Spring Boot. In that, you will learn other things. It won't be other languages that we'll get super deep into. We feel that with 3 months, it's best to limit the amount of different subjects that you're jumping into.
That's
Your brain can only take so much. So you will definitely learn a lot of other things along the way, but those are our primary focuses for this apprenticeship.
So for the getting to know you form, can they do candidates have to fill it out all at once, or can they save and come back?
Right now, Workable does not allow you to save and come back. So Workable is the tool that we use to gather our applications. So what I would highly suggest is copying the questions to whatever text editor you use, and take your time going through there. I'm telling you that it will take longer than you think. It takes a very long time. So I would highly suggest moving those to some sort of text editor and taking your time to answer them, then coming back to the GTKY itself,
And then just
putting them
paste.
in there, and then submitting.
We have another question from, by the way, Tobi was able to read from there what that question was on LinkedIn
Wow.
before I could even get to it. You kind of threw me off. I thought maybe you were streaming on your phone. That was impressive. Eagle eye.
Streaming up here.
All right, from YouTube, what type of hardware will be needed during the program?
We provide the hardware. So we give everybody a laptop to use during the duration of the program. You don't need to bring anything with you. You might want like a case for your laptop or something to carry it in, but we provide all the hardware that you'll need.
We don't provide cases.
No, we don't provide cases.
We give stickers.
We do give you stickers, but you'd need a lot of those to protect
If
the
you
laptop.
do as many stickers as Elise, you might be able to protect your laptop.
That is true. Wow.
They're on the bottom of
Yeah,
it too.
yeah.
All right, I think that's it. Dave, any more on YouTube, or are we good? All right, I think we've covered everything
That's
on
awesome.
LinkedIn, which is fantastic. So just to reiterate, opened today, the apprenticeship partnered with Ford for Java Spring Boot. Applications on DetroitLabs.com/careers, the Java Developer Apprentice, right?
Correct.
Okay, and open house will be February 13th. Submission dates are February 6th through February 23rd, ending at 11:59 p.m. Interviews the first 2 weeks of March,
That's
correct? Selections made March 16th, and the program runs from April 6th to June 26th. I think that's it. I think this video will be available on LinkedIn after. I know it's available on YouTube after. We appreciate all the really great questions, the great interactions here. Everyone's very interested. Jen,
Thank you, Jen.
we appreciate you coming on
For
and
sure.
and pretty much running the show today, which has been fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you both.
Thank
The apprenticeship's going to be awesome. Tobi, appreciate you as
Yeah.
always. Don't forget to follow Detroit Labs on LinkedIn. That way you know when we go live, because Labs Live will be on LinkedIn from now on, which is great. Plus more live content will show up on LinkedIn, which is awesome. And then also subscribe on YouTube, bell icon to be notified. And I think that's it, right, Dave?
Yeah.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Good luck to everyone applying.
Now we have to sit back and talk like it's the news right now, because
Oh.
we have to delay because LinkedIn just cuts off.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
The weather
move
channel.
back so they can't hear you. That's part of the mystique, Tobi. The mystique. Weather channel.
This is when, like, after the main news, you go to the weather. It's snowing now, if you're wondering.
It is snowing. Thanks, Chuck Gatica. I'm just looking at Dave to figure out when
That's
we're
awesome.
off. Are
Oh,
we
yeah.
off?
Thank you.
Dave says he cut off the audio, so y'all can applaud if you want.
Oh, yeah. Yay.
That's awesome.
Are we still on camera though, right?